Imagine stepping into a garden where nothing feels rushed, where old wood still remembers the hands that touched it, and broken stones quietly tell stories of time. Imagine walking slowly, hearing leaves move with the wind, feeling the ground cool beneath your feet, and realizing that beauty doesn't shout, it whispers. This is not a garden built with money. This is a garden built with memory, patience, and love. Welcome to a place where forgotten things learn how to breathe again. Welcome to Backyard Fortune, a place where nature, memory, and creativity meet. Here, we turn simple materials into soulful spaces and ordinary backyards into living stories. If you love calm ideas like this, don't forget to subscribe. And if this video brings you peace, please share it with someone you care about on WhatsApp or Facebook. To everyone who watches, shares, and supports this journey, I pray for your health, your happiness, and a long, peaceful life. One, the living vine ceiling, grape trellis reimagined. Imagine standing beneath a ceiling made not of walls or roofs, but of living leaves gently dancing with the light. Above you, vines stretch and breathe, weaving their way through time-worn wood. Each leaf filters the sun softly, casting moving shadows that feel alive, never still, never rushed. This is not a structure built to impress. It is a space shaped by patience, guided by nature's quiet rhythm. The wooden beams once lived another life. Now, they hold something gentler, grapevines reaching upward, teaching us that growth doesn't need perfection, only direction. Beneath this living canopy, the air feels cooler, calmer. Time slows. Thoughts soften. Here, conversations linger longer. Silence feels warmer. Even the light seems kinder. This kind of garden doesn't demand attention, it invites presence. It reminds us that beauty doesn't need to shout. Sometimes, it simply waits above us, growing quietly, offering shade not only for the body, but for the soul. And as the leaves sway with the breeze, they whisper a simple truth. Nature doesn't rush, yet everything finds its place. And just beyond this gentle shade, another story is waiting to unfold. Two, the memory path, mosaic walkway. Imagine walking barefoot along a path that remembers every step taken before yours. Each piece beneath your feet once lived another life. A broken plate, a forgotten tile, a fragment of something once whole. Now, they rest together, forming a quiet story of renewal. This path doesn't lead somewhere in a hurry. It invites you to slow down, to notice how light settles between the cracks, how moss gently claims its space, how beauty grows without asking permission. There is something deeply grounding about walking here. The cool surface beneath your feet, the subtle unevenness, the quiet rhythm of nature surrounding you. It reminds us that perfection isn't smooth, it's layered, patient, and shaped by time. This mosaic path doesn't try to impress. It simply exists, holding memories beneath every step. It teaches us that even the broken pieces of our lives can come together to create something gentle, something whole. And as you follow the curve of this path, you realize it's not guiding you forward. It's guiding you inward. Just ahead, another quiet transformation is waiting to be discovered. 3. The whispering fence, driftwood living wall. Some boundaries are not meant to divide, they are meant to breathe. This fence does not stand to keep the world out. It stands to gently hold space. Formed from weathered wood once shaped by wind and water, it carries stories older than the garden itself. Each branch leans softly into the next, not in perfection, but in quiet agreement. As vines begin to climb, the line between structure and nature slowly fades. What once felt like an edge becomes a living ribbon, moving, growing, listening. Sunlight filters through the spaces between branches, casting gentle patterns that shift throughout the day, reminding us that nothing truly stands still. This kind of boundary doesn't close a space, it invites curiosity. It allows the garden to breathe, to expand without walls, to feel safe without feeling confined. Here, privacy comes not from separation, but from harmony. Standing beside it, you sense a calm that cannot be built with tools alone. It grows from patience, from letting nature decide how it wishes to be seen. And just beyond this quiet fence, another story quietly waits, ready to unfold. Four, the floating garden, hanging basket chandelier. There is something magical about life that floats. Suspended between earth and sky, this garden does not belong to the ground. It dances gently in the air. Each leaf sways with the quiet rhythm of the breeze, catching light in moments that feel almost borrowed from a dream. It's not meant to dominate the space, but to soften it, to remind us that beauty doesn't always need roots in the soil. This floating garden invites the eyes upward, encouraging stillness. Beneath it, time feels slower. Conversations soften. Thoughts wander gently. The world below becomes quieter, as if listening to the soft rustle above. What once was an ordinary frame now carries life. What once hung unused now holds growth, balance, and grace. It teaches us that even forgotten spaces above our heads can become sanctuaries. Here, the garden doesn't sit still, it breathes. It moves with the air, with the light, with the moment. And as your gaze drifts upward, you begin to feel it. A gentle reminder that beauty doesn't always grow from the ground up. Sometimes, it floats. Five, the memory bench, reclaimed bed frame bench. Some places invite us to sit, not to rest, but to remember. This bench once held the weight of dreams inside a home. Now, it carries quiet moments beneath the open sky. Its wood still remembers hands that shaped it, laughter that once filled the room, and the calm that followed long days. Here, time slows in the most gentle way. Placed within the garden, the bench becomes more than furniture. It becomes a pause, a place to breathe, a space where stories can settle without words. The warmth of the wood meets the cool whisper of leaves, and suddenly, you feel held by the moment. Nothing here is rushed. The light rests softly on the grain. The air moves slowly, as if respecting the stillness. This is where thoughts wander freely, where memories surface without effort, and where silence feels like comfort. This bench reminds us that beauty doesn't come from perfection, but from presence. From objects that have lived before and are willing to live again. And as you rise from this quiet seat, another path gently opens, inviting you to continue the journey, one peaceful step at a time. 6. The mini water sanctuary, bucket fountain. There is something deeply calming about the sound of water. It doesn't rush. It doesn't ask for attention. It simply flows, reminding us that peace is often found in motion, not stillness. This small water sanctuary turns an ordinary corner into a place of quiet reflection. The gentle ripple of water softens the air. Each drop carries away the weight of the day, leaving behind a sense of ease. Even the smallest fountain can change how a space feels, transforming silence into presence. Here, time seems to slow. Birds linger longer. Leaves sway softer. And the mind follows, settling into the rhythm of something ancient and familiar. This water feature isn't about luxury or complexity. It's about balance. About inviting calm into everyday life. About allowing nature to speak in its simplest language. As the water continues to flow, it whispers a quiet reminder: peace doesn't have to be found far away. Sometimes, it's waiting in a small corner you never noticed before. And just beyond this gentle sound, another story begins to take shape. Seven. The bicycle bloom sculpture. There is something timeless about a bicycle standing still. Once built for movement, it now rests quietly, carrying not journeys, but stories. Its wheels no longer chase the road, yet they cradle life in the soft curve of blooming petals. What once moved forward now invites us to pause. This simple transformation turns motion into memory. The frame becomes a canvas, the baskets overflow with color, and every flower feels like a whisper from another time. It reminds us of childhood afternoons, slow rides beneath the sun, and moments when time felt endless. Here, the bicycle no longer travels, it belongs. Rooted in the earth, embraced by greenery, it becomes part of the garden's rhythm. A symbol of journeys taken and journeys yet to come. There is quiet joy in seeing something once ordinary become extraordinary through care and imagination. It teaches us that even when movement stops, beauty continues to grow. And as this gentle sculpture rests among the flowers, it invites us to slow down too. Because sometimes, the most meaningful journeys happen when we simply stop and look around. Eight. The ladder tunnel walkway. Some paths are meant to be walked slowly. This one invites you to step forward not with haste, but with wonder. Built from old ladders once meant for climbing, this passage now guides you gently through a living corridor of green. Each step feels like a quiet invitation to breathe, to notice, to arrive without rushing. As vines weave their way overhead, the world softens. Light filters through leaves, painting moving shadows across the path below. The air feels cooler here, calmer. Time stretches, just enough for the mind to rest. This tunnel doesn't rush you toward a destination. Instead, it teaches that the journey itself can be the destination. That even narrow spaces can hold beauty, shelter, and peace. Once tools of labor, these ladders now carry something gentler, a sense of wonder, a reminder that transformation often begins with what we already have. And as you step out from the other side, you realize something quietly powerful. Sometimes, the path forward only reveals itself once you slow down enough to walk it. Nine. Bottle border memory line. Every garden tells a story, sometimes in whispers, sometimes in light. Along this quiet border, glass once destined to be forgotten finds a new purpose. Each bottle holds a memory, a shared meal, a quiet evening, a moment once lived and now gently preserved. Turned upside down and nestled into the earth, they become guardians of the garden, marking its edge with subtle beauty. When sunlight touches the glass, something magical happens. Colors awaken. Greens glow softly. Amber warms the soil beneath. What once was ordinary becomes quietly extraordinary. This border doesn't shout for attention. It hums softly, guiding the eye and grounding the space. It reminds us that beauty doesn't need to be grand to be meaningful. Sometimes, it lives in repetition, in patience, in the simple act of giving something a second life. As you walk beside it, you may notice how the light changes from morning to evening, how each bottle holds its own small moment of the day. And just like that, a simple line becomes a memory path, leading you gently toward the final story waiting ahead. The final garden sanctuary. Every journey needs a place to rest. This garden sanctuary is not built to impress, but to embrace. It gathers all the quiet moments you've passed through, the whispers of leaves, the warmth of stone, the stillness between breaths, and holds them gently in one space. Here, nothing competes for attention. Everything belongs. The textures soften the mind, the light slows the heart, and the world feels just a little more forgiving. It's a place where time loosens its grip and the noise of life fades into something kinder. This is where stories settle, where the day exhales, where you remember that peace doesn't need to be searched for, it waits patiently for you to arrive. Built not with perfection, but with intention, this sanctuary reflects the beauty of living slowly, of choosing presence over pace, of allowing nature to guide the rhythm once again. And as you rest here, surrounded by what you've created, one truth becomes clear. The most beautiful places are not found, they are felt. Thank you for walking this garden with me. Until our next quiet moment together. A garden doesn't need to be perfect. It only needs to feel honest. And maybe, somewhere between the stones and the silence, you'll find a piece of yourself waiting there. Thank you for walking this path with me. Until our next quiet journey.